Yo, peace and blessing, my peoples, man. This is Terrible T KID 170, Boogie Down Bronx, man, representing back in the days. Yo, check it out, man. I'm on Visual Caffeine. Check me out, visualcaffeine.com, the place to watch what's going on. Peace.
Peace, Visual Caffeine. We got a special guest, an icon of the writer. I'm stumbling because I'm just so excited. This brother right here is one of my icons in terms of style, in terms of art, period. The nasty, terrible T KID.
Yo, what's up, my man? Pez.
Word, yo. It's beautiful to have you, brother.
Yo, my pleasure, man. Thank you for having me come down.
No doubt. I want to ask you a couple questions about, like, the art form and stuff like that right off the bat. I hear a lot of DJs talk about, Serato, they don't like it, they want to go back to vinyl. In terms of our element, do you think that all writers should start with, like, Red Devils and Krylon, or should they just, master the stuff like what you went through, or jump right into the new stuff, or?
The way it goes, man, it's real simple, man. Back in the days, we used what we had, and that's what was available, was Red Devils, Krylon. I love Red Devils, by the way. Rust-Oleums and stuff, but for me, Red Devil was like the best. I also like the epoxy paints and whatnot, because they were like really, they had some nice colors and they were thick. They don't have that like they did back in the days. Today, what they have is specialty paint, man. Paint that's made for graffiti, different color palettes, different brands, paint that works in the cold weather, paint that works in the hot weather. I mean, they really got scientific on this stuff,
Including caps. We used to have to make our fat caps.
Including the caps, man. But, what's available today is a lot better than what we had back in the days. I mean, back in the days, man, like my predecessors, people like Phase 2, Tracy 168, Rick 170, all these guys, man, they used what they had, and what they created was amazing. So I followed suit, I was just fortunate enough to do what I do back then, under their guidance. I like to call myself the bastard child of many fathers when it comes to graffiti. Because I learned from so many people. Padre Dos was my mentor. Tracy schooled me on a lot of stuff, man. And then I had the Subway, man, where I learned everything I saw, man, and I incorporated what I saw into my style. Back then, you got to look at it this way, graffiti, compared today to back then. It's like looking at what Michelangelo and Da Vinci did back in the days, They took their time, they studied shit, they created shit. You know what I'm saying? There was an emphasis on always trying to outdo the next guy. And it wasn't a necessarily thing where people came in and did it quick, fast, in a hurry. It wasn't about just coming up and doing a throw up and boom, bam, 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 and doing whatever just because I hit the train. Now I'm king. Nah, it was about doing good stuff and a lot of it. Today, even though we got a lot of paints and different stuff, it's become like, I call it the microwave society type of shit, because everything is done quick, fast, in a hurry, man, Everything is about commercial, branding, this, that, and the other. Where's the art? Where's the love? Where's the passion? Where's the history? I mean, that when we came up, it was about, taking pride in what you did and creating something that was awesome, that ran, that when you did it didn't get buffed, man. And I'm not knocking anybody or anything. I'm just saying how different it was back then. It's like eating filet mignon as to going to McDonald's today, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it's all about. And, should writers, hey, you guys got the best tools, man. Take your time, learn something, do what you do and be good at it.
Because I asked that because, we used to make our own markers with the 1 liter Pepsi bottle.
Dude, we used to use the Band-Aid boxes, bro. You get the little Band-Aid, the little tin Band-Aid boxes. You go to school, you get your eraser, you cut it up. Use that felt, man, and then stick ink it. And if not, go to the supermarket, rack up shoe polish, bro. That was the ultimate freaking drippy joint, man.
Word. So I was reading your book, which is tremendous. If you guys don't have it, you got to go get it. But you rock with Dondi.
I didn't paint with Dondi, but we were from the same time. I think I was a little before him and shit, you know? Because they started coming up like the late 70s, you know, early 80s, you know, and you know, Martha Cooper really pushed them through the roof, kid. You know, and, you know, God bless Martha and Henry Chaffin and all those people, because, you know, they shared our culture. You know, what we was doing, this graffiti culture with the world. And made it a worldwide phenomenon. So much respect to those people. And people like Dondi, pioneers. So I was a pioneer, you know.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I had the pleasure of painting with Dondi at the Sam Essie studio, the first graffiti collection. Cats like Zephyr, Revolt, Dondi, Case.
Wow.
You know, everybody was there, man. And I want to say, this was like, I don't know if it was 70... I want to say like around 79. 79. It's when that movie Penthouse made that Caligula movie. That's how I remember it, man. When Caligula, when that movie Caligula came out, it was around that time, just a little bit after that. And we went to the studio and created all this art, and I got to see Dondi paint right there, and you know, chill and get to know him, you know, as well as I seen when Futura testing paint on the floor right there, came up with those famous straight lines and circles that made him famous, man.
I only ask you about Dondi because in my book, you got you, Dondi, Futura, Vulcan, Dondi, Ernie, you know, you guys are just style masters. Like, especially what I learned from you and Dondi is you don't have to just have one name. Like Two Draw.
Yeah, Two Draw was a boy. I did the names for Two Draw. I did the name for Race.
For other people?
I did Int. I did Pessa. You know, I did a couple of Shocks, a couple of Rins. You know, I did a couple of Annies for my man Min. You know, that's how we got better.
That expands your style. It's just like when you play basketball, you just don't do one type of dribbling. You try and practice with right hand, left hand. And that's one, like, you know, I have a certain tag, but I write whatever I want. If I'm in a mood to do pads or whatever else, that's what I do. And I learned that from y'all because you did what you wanted.
Well, listen, Wild Style. Let me screw you on Wild Style because Wild Style wasn't about graffiti letters like everybody thought. You know, Wild Style's a way of life. Wild Style was a crew, Tracy 168's crew. Much respect to Tracy 168. You know, one of the godfathers of graffiti, man. I mean, this guy is a genius. He developed a lot of stuff. He innovated a lot of stuff that people are doing today. Everything from stencils to 3D letters, man, to three-dimensional letters. He did them way back then. You know, his crew was Wild Style. You know. And I had the honor and privilege of getting down with Wild Style in 1977. You know, when I met Tracy. You know, I remember it was winter. And I remember that magazine Heavy Metal had just came out.
Oh wow, Heavy Metal.
You know, Heavy Metal magazine had just came out, and you know, I met him, and I remember I showed him my stuff, and he was like, "Yo, you're gonna be good." And I was, you know, I wasn't that good, but he said, "Yo, there's something in your style. I could tell you got talent. You're gonna be real good." What Tracy didn't know is that I had Padre mentoring me. You know, so he was teaching me how to do stuff. So I got down with the crew Wild Style, and I remember when and this is a true story, and it's not to put anybody down and stuff like that. Zephyr had asked me, "Yo, you know Tracy 168? You think you could have him put me down with Wild Style?" And that's because they were making that movie Wild Style with Charlie Ahern. So they wanted to give a little bit of legitimacy to that. I'm assuming. You know, and those were the guys, man. You know, guys like Fab Five Freddy. They thought Wild Style was a style of letters, but it was really the crew. It was really the crew, and everything we did was Wild Style. You know, because we were just crazy ass kids, buck wild kids doing, you know, doing what we did.
We all went through that.
And that's how it was, man. You know, and Wild Style wasn't really so much about the letters, man, but it was more about what we were doing and the way of life that we lived and stuff, man. You know, we were young, we were invincible, you know, we thought.
And it was a different time in New York, man.
Totally different time, man. We could do things back then that you go to freaking prison for a long time today, bro.
We don't have to walk around with money in our socks or anything like that no more in the bottom of your shoe, you know what I mean?
No, remember that, man?
Yeah, it's a whole different world.
Yeah, you just got a card now, man, and your money's in the bank, safe.
I know, it's crazy.
So, yo, guys like Dondi, man, much respect, man, because, yo, they not for nothing, man, I looked up to Dondi, man. man.
Word.
Honestly,
That's one of my favorite writers.
He was dope. His style was unique, man. He had that straight but crisp, like letters, man. You know, and his ideas were off the hook, and it was natural for him to come right off the trains and into the galleries.
Right.
You know, it's funny because I stood away from the galleries.
Okay.
Because back then I was really hardcore. I was about painting trains.
Right.
You know, and I thought, I was like, yo, when I started seeing all that stuff in the galleries, people on TV talking about where they rack up paint, I was like, yo, that's the end of the trains. And eventually that's what happened.
Right.
You know, people started putting paint behind the counters and whatnot. We couldn't go to Manhattan to rack up paint no more. I had to go to Jersey to rack up my paint.
Wow.
But you know, I stood underground like that for the longest, man. The longest.
So one question that I got is mentorship.
Mentorship,
like,
man.
I see a lot of the cats out now don't have that funk, you know what I'm saying? Like that's passed down from the original. It's like when you use the original sample, it's that funk, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I figured that's what all writing is. You gotta have that funk, that soul to it. And I see a lot of cats like saying that they're masters or you know, that think they got skills when they're toys, basically. I'm not trying to diss them. How important is mentorship to you?
Mentorship is real important because, see, you learn.
Right.
You learn what to do and what not to do.
Right.
You know, you learn a little bit about yourself. You learn about your limitations. You learn by watching other people. You know, like Padre sat down and taught me how to do my letters. He taught me style. Tracy 168, he taught me what was what in the world. He became like a life mentor. Not only did he teach me how to rack up and stuff, he taught me how to deal with people.
Right.
I mean, the man was a genius, and he was a very intelligent man. You know, and he dealt with people, with galleries, and he told me, he said, yo, they're gonna F you every time they can.
Right.
You know, it's all about the buck.
Right.
You know, the thing is, you always give them a little, but don't give them a lot.
Right.
You know, always hold the best for yourself.
Word.
He taught me stuff like that and how to deal with people and whatnot. You know, mentorship is so important. You know, you just don't come out in here and yo, I'm the best, I'm the greatest. Nah, man.
You got to earn that title.
You got to earn it, man. And that's when you get people's respect.
Right.
You know, that's when you get people's adoration and them wanting your work, basically. You know, when they see you go through what you got to go through. You know, I've been doing this for a long time.
Right.
I want to say over 40 years, kid.
Word. So
Over 40 years.
You mad to earn that title. I mean, it's
man. You know, one of the questions I get, man, yo, you know, and it's funny because, yo, dude, I ain't got no shame in saying I'm 57 years old. I got no shame in saying that, man.
Word.
You know, I started writing when I was like 12 and a half, going on 13, tagging as a toy. I got slapped around. I had to join a gang so I wouldn't get my ass beat.
Right.
You know, been shot, been stabbed, been this, been that. You know, and it's all about, you know, going through what I had to go through to get to where I'm at today.
Word.
I went through what I went through and got to where I'm at. You know, here we go back. People ask me, yo, T, you know, a real writer just paints on trains and steals his paint, blah, 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 blah. And I was one of those that I was on the cheerleading section when it came to that, because that's what I believed.
Right. Well, you were doing it.
I was doing it.
Right.
But I did it.
Right.
Now here I am at 57 years old. How does it look, me going into a store to rack up some paint?
Right.
How does it look, me getting busted? Like them kids from Spain.
Yeah, right.
Treated like a terrorist.
On a spraycation, they call it.
On a spraycation. Now check that out, man. You know, I paid my dues, man. I paid my dues. I did what I had to do. I don't do it for free anymore. And that's another thing. Are you a sellout because you're selling canvases? No, I'm not a sellout. I'm just finding a new way to get up and get paid at the process. I earned this, man. I earned it. I truly believe that I earned this because I did a lot. And I did a lot of work for free. And now it's about getting paid for my efforts. You know? And what I give you is the flavor of the mid-70s, early 80s. And on top of that, like my mentor, Padre Dos said, yo, T, you got to stay relevant, whatever that word is. What you see and you like, incorporate it and make it your own, into your work. And that's what I do, and that's why I stay on top of things today. From what people tell me, I'm the only writer that could get up today and burn.
Yeah, no.
And my style just changes.
Yeah, I was just gonna go into that. Like you did the scroll style.
Dude.
And that's what it is. It's about style, y'all. It's not just about putting your name up and that's part of it, but it's about the style.
Yo, I just did a piece in Hackensack, New Jersey, man, with my man Sko, K.A., you know, and Yeah, I use the 3D scrolling letters with the ribbons coming out of it and stuff. And God willing, you know, we're in June. Where we in? We're in May now. We're in May now. I'm supposed to paint tomorrow with Scheme, Kid, and them cats. You know, and if the weather permits, I'm gonna be doing something fresh. You know, and it's gonna be not no regular thing like this, but it's gonna be like I'm gonna do my character. Right. I'm gonna do some like 3-dimensional.
Right. So do you sketch it out first, or you just go for broke?
Most of the times I go for broke. When I really want to impress people and put like an emphasis on like, yo, I got this. Right. I'll take a little sketch with me. My man Padre told me, yo, it's always good to have a sketch with you. Because you use that as a blueprint. You don't necessarily have to do what's on that piece of paper, but you use it as a blueprint. Oh, dude, I've done that that's a formula I've used for a long time and it's worked for me.
Where's the tightest place that you painted at overseas?
Wow.
Because I know
so
that
many. Germany. Yo, dude, I could tell you stories from Italy to Switzerland. You know, and I'm talking about painting trains, kid.
Yeah.
Painting trains, man. You know?
Are the officials as hard as they are over here, or is it just that they don't appreciate the art here? Because what you guys used to do was illegal, but now they got ads on the side of the train that look like whole cards.
Yeah, but you know, they catch you out there, they're gonna lock you up, man. That ain't no joke. I mean, I got raided a couple of times, man. You know, I was with this one kid, man. I don't even want to mention his name and shit, man.
All right, we won't.
But we was in Switzerland, man. And we got out the yard, we got away, we hiding in some buildings, and his cell phone kept going off. And it was this boy to tell us that the cops were coming. We were like, yo, we know the cops is coming, you know? And the place we was in was known for their brothel.
Oh, wow.
Right? So I remember, man, yo, they spotted him right away. I just, you know, I know how to stay still and become invisible because I've been doing this for a long time, and I ain't scared. You know, you get caught, you know? And I'm just sitting there, man, behind a garage on a 2-story house, man, you know? And the cops come in and they speaking to me in German, because that's in that part of Switzerland, that's what they speak, German. So talking that stuff. And I say, oh, slow down. Because first they catch homeboy, and I'm like, oh shit, if they take him, I'm effed. Right. Because I don't know how to get back to where the hell we had to get back to. Right. Homeboy had the phone talking to the guy with the car. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know how to communicate with the guy with the car, man. Right. So the minute that they had him, he's talking to them in freaking German and whatever. And then I did one of these, like I was sleeping, you know? And the guy, halt, you know, pulling the flashlight and the gun on me. And I'm like, oh, easy, bro. Right. So the cop comes up to me and he goes, yo. He didn't say it like that, but he said, you speak English? And I said, yeah, dude, I speak English. Right. Where were you? And I said, dude.
Where do you think I was?
What are you doing here? And I said, dude, we was at the brothel. Right. I ran out of money. We was going to go to the station, but it's too bright and I'm tired. Right. And the train don't run till like 5 o'clock in the morning. Right. Yo, I gave him that story. Now, this is the irony. Yo, homeboy told him the same shit in German, and we hadn't planned that. And we got over, kid.
Wow.
Yo, I'm telling you, man, God loves me, man.
Yeah, everything aligned the way
everything aligned, man. Yo, it was funny, man. Right. You know, because when I spoke to him, he's like, what did you tell him? I said, I told him that, you know, we was at the brothel that you told me called. Because the first thing when we get into the town, the guy's telling me, oh, they have a famous brothel here, man, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Good information. Thank you. Because it worked. It got me out of going to jail, you know? I could tell you another time in Paris where I'm with my boy Congo and them, and we're painting on an old train station. They have like the circular train that goes around the city of Paris that they don't use no more. Okay. So they have abandoned train stations, and the city lets them do graffiti on it. Wow. I don't know if you see my DVD.
Not yet, no.
Check it out. It's on Amazon.com.
What's the name of it?
The Nasty Terrible T KID 170, a.k.a. Julius Cavero.
Look it up.
You know, it's on Amazon Prime, man. Right. Shout out to Love Machine. Yo, what's up, people? Peace. Word. You know? You see the cops coming in deep, man. I'm talking about like, they must have had like about 50 cops coming for us. Wow. And we got arrested, man. You know? And it's in the DVD because I had the camera rolling through the whole time. Even when we was in the paddy wagon. Right, wow. You know, in the paddy wagon, I still had the camera rolling and stuff.
So were the fuzz out there, the pigs, the cops?
Yeah, man, we got into the station, they were cool. They were cool? They were cool, man, you know. Germany, not so cool, but I never got caught in Germany. Okay. You know, and I'm not going to say that I painted trains in Germany. I'm not going to say that. I didn't do that. No. But I can't go to Germany no more. You know what I'm saying? So alemanes son locos, man. You know? What's up, Zebby? Where's my money? You know?
Yeah.
It's like every country's different, but you know, you just gotta be cool.
Right.
You know, if you're going in for one thing, you know, I gotta give it to my man Chintz. There's this famous writer that did a lot of trains, bro. You didn't know he was even in your town. He didn't tell nobody. He would just go and paint, not tell nobody what he was doing. Because really, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. If nobody knows what you're doing, nobody can rat you out.
Right, and you're gonna get up more and more and more and more and more.
Yeah, and I've been a victim of that ratting shit, man, you know. But I'm not gonna talk about that shit, you know.
Right.
But you know, that's the best way to do things, man. You do your shit. You keep your mouth shut. Don't tell nobody. You be all right, man. You get busted, keep your mouth shut, man.
Because I seen some cats doing like whole cars when the train stops. I think it was in Australia.
No, they call that back jumps, and I think it originated actually in Spain.
Okay, what do you think about putting that stuff on, Instagram? And all? Isn't that sort of like self-snitching or whatever?
Well, listen, man. Yeah, that is self-snitching, man. Not for nothing. The cops are they're aware. Interpol. The Vandal Squad here in New York, they watch all these websites.
Right.
They listen, they're your friend on Facebook, they're your friend on Instagram. They're watching what you're doing, what you're posting, man.
Right.
You know, and that you know, like my man, what was his name, man, in that movie, that Bomb It, where the guy talked about, graffiti, the cop says, graffiti's the only crime where the criminal signs his name to it, you know?
Right.
I mean, back in the days, they had to catch you. Now they just go by your tag. And what sucks about that, somebody could do your name, copy your tag, and you get busted.
Right. I have another question. The Vandal Squad, like everybody hears about that. Were they like fun enemies, or because I've heard stories that they used to beat people up and take their money and spray their faces and like.
I don't know about all that, but I'm pretty sure. Listen, man, cop is pissed off, man. Ain't getting laid, ain't having a good day. He's a human being. He's gonna fucking take his shit out on you.
Right. Was that sort of a motivator for you guys back then, like to get over on them and stuff like that?
For me, it was just getting over on the trains. I got busted. I remember the first time I got busted was with Baby 168, man, in the one tunnel, man. And the cop that busted me his name was Edwards. Okay. He's a gentleman. Mm-hmm. Much respect to Edwards. Okay. Because I had a half an ounce of weed on me. He's retired. Okay. He saw the talent that we had, and he knew that we weren't bad kids. Right. He used good judgment because I respected. Mm-hmm. I learned a little respect that day for the transit cops. Okay. Because he treated me like a human being. Right. He didn't come and smack me around or anything like that. I told him, I got some. He told, they asked you got any weapons? I said, I got some weed, and it was whack weed, man. It was that commercial. That shit wasn't even ready yet. Right.
It ain't that floating in the water type
And he said, get rid of that shit.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, cool. Well, and I did. I threw it out. But the thing is, while we was locked up, he said, let me see your artwork and stuff like that. They want to see who you are and what your tag is. And that's what they're really doing, and we know. But they had our shit anyway, so not like I had my little blueprint, And he was like, you guys are talented, why are you doing this? And he sat down and he talked with us and stuff, and then he gave us a DAT, And DAT is a disappearance ticket, and that's how it was back then, Okay. And I learned a little respect, but afterwards, man, you got these other that freaking asshole. What was his name? The one that retired, man.
We won't even mention his name.
Rivera, whatever. Joe Blow, whatever.
So, how about? Do you think that New York City would be better off if they had like a not just a Hall of Fame, but somewhere where cats could go spray? Because I got this boy in Amsterdam, where it looks like they got a skate park that they could just go out and do whatever they want.
There's a lot of. They call those Hall of Fames. We started that. By the way.
No
doubt.
They call
those Hall of Fames, and they're all over. They're all over.
The real 106 in Park.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Almost every European city, in fact, anywhere in the world you go, they have a Hall of Fame. The equivalent to a Hall of Fame where you come and paint. That's one thing that we, that was dope about 5 Points.
Right.
Shout out to my man Mears.
Mears, exactly.
Mears, Mary, peace, love,
Word.
They had the guy before them, Frank the Dildo, whatever his name was.
Right.
I didn't like him too much, but Mears I got much respect for, because he did it right.
Right. Well,
he's
a writer.
He's a writer, exactly. So he knew how to work with people and deal with people, and what he did with 5 Points was make it accessible for people to come and paint.
Right.
Believe it or not, that kept the vandalism down.
Word.
There wasn't so many spraycations.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. When I heard
they would
that,
come and do that, man.
Right.
But then they got rid of that, and not by his, and I'm glad that he won his case, because the law is the law.
Right.
If you make an agreement with somebody, you sign a contract with somebody to document whatever it is, that's what it is.
And you know what's crazy? I saw a picture.
Don't hate.
In the lobby of that building, they got something that looks like graph. You know what I'm saying? When I saw that, I was like, I had to close the paper, and I got, it was crazy, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man. But he's still, he's got some walls now in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Well, I saw the Sean P. memorial that he did.
Right.
I was there for that. That was dope. In terms of they say graffiti, and I know it used to be writing and all of that. I call them writers or writing. Does that matter to you, or is it just all about the
back in the days, and it does matter to me. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, it does matter. I'm a graffiti artist. I'm a graffiti artist. I'm a graffiti writer. I write my name. Everything I do, whether I'm doing it on canvas, on a wall, on a bus, on a train, whatever. Right. And when I say train, I mean the little model trains, not the real choo-choo trains.
Right.
I got a pension coming. I ain't fucking around. I like to be known as a graffiti writer or graffiti artist.
Right.
Not a street artist or whatever. Back in the days, if you painted in the streets, you was a toy because you couldn't hit the trains.
Right.
And it's funny how it's evolved. I like to be classified as a graffiti artist because back in the days, that's what we were. We were graffiti artists.
Right.
Any books, any documentation you saw back in the 70s, back in the 80s, talked about graffiti writers and graffiti artists. Right. That famous documentary called Star Wars?
Yes.
They're called graffiti writers.
Right.
It's true.
Right.
Now, they came up with that term street artist to get away from the bad boy image, but kept the street in it to give it that legitimacy, which is fake.
Right.
It's funny, and what I'm noticing, there was a big trend of all these street artists coming in, and what street artists are really very talented artists that studied, did whatever they did,
right.
And said, you know what, I want to get famous,
right.
Let me go do something in the street. And that's what they did.
Right.
But like in the microwave society, anything you do in the microwave doesn't really have that feeling.
Right, you can't cook pernil
no, you can't. You ain't making no pernil in the microwave.
And that's enough right there.
You ain't making no filet mignon in the microwave. You ain't making nothing worth eating in a microwave, man. The only thing a microwave is for popcorn, and that's because you want to tell your kid go put it in the microwave and you do it because you're too busy.
So you said the difference between street artist and a writer, or
see, like I was telling you, man. We got history. We got love behind. We take our time and we develop something. Right. We think it's thought out. How else can I do my name and every name I do differently for so many years? Right. As opposed to going putting the stencil and doing the same thing over and over.
Right.
People like that. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit out of touch with stuff, but the reality is, I'll tell you one thing. I'd rather buy a freaking Da Vinci or Michelangelo over...
Right, or even your stuff over,
Oh, absolutely. I hate selling my stuff, dude.
You shouldn't, though, man. That's
dude,
the whole thing.
Everybody wants to make prints. It's every time I give a piece away, man, and I got a lot of shit, man. I save my stuff, man. Right. I save my stuff, man. I go back and forth. My mother had stuff, man. I got black books that I don't even show people, man. Because everybody wants to, every time I show something, people want to buy it. And they don't want to pay you for it. Right. They want to, I got this guy, he wanted an old school canvas that I got, right? I just fixed it up. It was fucked up a little bit. I had to touch it up here and there. Right. So I tell the guy, yo, man, and it's a small canvas, it's not that big. It's only like 41 by 51 inches. I painted back in 81 for my brother. And the guy, I tell the guy, he says, how much you want for it? And I said, $5,000. He goes, can you do a better price? I'm like, dude, I'm giving you a fucking break.
Right.
That shit's gonna be worth, yo, dude, not for nothing.
Right.
I am famous.
Right. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I'm part of graffiti history, man.
Yeah.
Only because my predecessors, like once again, Tracy, Riff, Phase 2, you know, even cats like fucking Nick, yo, these cats, yo, they taught me.
Right.
You know, and I ran with them. And I painted at the same time they did.
Right.
Maybe not as good as they did at the time. Maybe I was just street tagging or, you know, being a neighborhood bomber, but I was there.
Right.
You know, and that's part of history, and that's what I offer. My old work is part of graffiti history.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And it's worth a lot more than $5,000.
Believe me, I'm nowhere near your fame or anything like that, but my wife gets on my case too because I hate selling artwork.
Yeah, man.
I've done record covers, I've done some flyers, you know, anniversary flyers for Zulu. I did like 40 of them, you know what I'm saying? And I hate paying, you know, having people pay for it because I just like showing my stuff. You know, to me, I
like looking at my stuff. You know, one of my favorite things, man, when I used to paint the trains back in the days and shit, I used to sit in the tunnel, man, or in the yard or whatever, and just look at my shit, man.
Word. Well, it's an accomplishment, man.
I couldn't wait till it ran and I could take a picture of it.
Right.
And at first, I didn't even take pictures. I was one of those guys, man. We didn't take pictures of this shit back in the days.
Right.
I don't know who started that,
Right.
but someone started it.
Right.
You know. And then we used to go rack up those little 126 cameras with the mail-in developing and shit.
Yeah.
Yo, man, I remember sometimes you mail it in and wouldn't get it back, bro.
Wow.
You know, because they knew it was stolen or whatever, man.
So,
but,
how many, in your estimation, how many trains did you get up? Like, I'm not trying to have you tell on anything, but you're prolific. But how many? I mean, was it just like every night, every other night?
I was what they call a Friday, Saturday, Sunday writer. You know, so I did Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Word.
I did a lot of work, man. You know, and back in the days, man, if a graffiti writer did more than 50 pieces, that was a lot.
Right.
The only guy, man, that you could give credit that did so many pieces and the most pieces on trains was Blade. Shout out to Blade.
Yeah.
Shout out to Blade. Blade really went, but you know, you got to look at what he did. As opposed to what everybody else was doing. You know, he was a little more complicated.
Right.
He was a fat cat, boom, 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 you know, kind of like Cope.
Right.
Cope made a good business with what he does. But his throw up is infamous.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, people hate him in that. But you know what? He's a talented individual. He's a talented, and his art is really, really good, and I appreciate it, man. You know, I seen what he does, and see, that reminds me of what Blade did. Blade did it on the trains, man. Boom, 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 and he did a lot of it. You know, Lee, whole cars.
Yes.
Not a lot.
Right.
But dope.
Right.
But dope
and
stuff.
Epic
shit.
Like they could rock today.
You know, kid, man. One of my favorite cars on the 4-line that he did was the Lee Maze, Lee Nightmare. He had the hooker standing on the light pole and all that stuff.
Right.
The one with the Ghost Rider.
Right.
Dude, man, this kid was off the hooks. When he did Lee's Doom Days, a married couple, that's when two trains have the consecutive numbers. And they're stuck together. You know, they go everywhere together. They don't break them up.
Right.
He did Lee's Doomsday on that shit.
Word.
You know? My man Padre told me he went to his house and he saw the blueprint of that shit, man. That was the guy that drew everything out.
Wow.
You know? When he did the dragon,
Yeah, that dragon. Yeah, if it wasn't for like Subway Art and Spricket, those
dude,
really
I seen them shits pulling fresh, 149th Street, waiting for the 5 train, the 5 and the 2 train, because I used to work in Hunts Point back in 70-something.
Right.
When that shit came out. How old was that? 78 when he did those.
Wow.
The Lee Dragon. The Lee with the Chinese letter and the dragon. Oh, dude, man, that shit was awful. I saw that, I could still smell the rust on it when it pulled right in front of me. You're talking about looking at it in the books? Dude, imagine being in a train.
Yeah.
Being in a station. And a dope car just that just got rocked. The colors are shining and blaring, man. You're like, damn, that shit is fresh. See, that's the feeling. That's what's missing today.
That's what I was just gonna. It's that microwave. You don't got that feeling, that funk, that soul, the spice.
Exactly. You know, somebody told me I was in Hong Kong, and this guy he works for Airbus, big guy, big company, put some artwork off of me, and he took me to dinner. You know, and I don't drink. I don't do alcohol. I gave up drugs. I gave all that up. And I'm sitting there, and the place we was in, the guy that took us says, "Oh, they got the best wine here." Now this guy, he's a classy guy, and he knows his wine. He's a French guy too, at that. So the owner of the shop was boasting about that. His wine is the best. If he doesn't like it, he doesn't have to pay for it and get another one. My man went through 10 bottles of wine.
Wow. And
said they were all crap.
Wow.
And I asked homeboy, I said, yo, how do you know when a bottle of wine is good? And he goes, you like steak? Because that's what I was eating. I love steak. You You know, my wife could tell you I love steaks. You know?
They telling us all the time.
Yeah, all
man.
the time.
Yeah.
So he says, you like steak, right? And he goes, what is it about when you sit down and eat a good steak? And I says, I could always remember that. And he goes, exactly. The memory. See, and when you saw a whole car freshly done pull in, that memory, you'll never forget it. That's in my genes, in my DNA, bro.
Right.
You know, and when it comes to art, that's what I like to see.
Right.
That's what I like to feel.
Right.
I don't just want to see it, I want to feel it.
Just like music. Just like music.
One of the things that my man Padre taught me, man, he says, yo, your letters gotta flow like music.
Right.
You know, and we're talking back in the disco days, bro. You can ring my bell. He told me, he says, you want something to be dope, you want it to say, ring my bell. You know? I was like, oh, shit.
Well, that's what I do whenever I draw. You got to have the music on. You know, you got to feel right and all that.
I'm telling you, man.
Word. So, yo, amazing stuff, man. You got shows coming up? Or?
In July, I'm going to be doing some stuff with my man Alan from Dirty Pilot and stuff, man, from July 5th. From July 5th to August 30th.
Where's that going to be at?
That's online.
Okay.
DirtyPilot.com.
Okay.
You know, my man Alan's pretty cool. You know, he makes art available to a lot of people. I got some special pieces, man, not as pricey as I usually do. Okay. Because my prices are up. You know, but with Alan, you know, he's a fair guy, and he does, you know, he's never done anything wrong by me. He's always looked out. He's always taking care of, you know, when people buy stuff, he pays right away. So I got much respect for that. I appreciate people, man, you know. Also, Next Street Gallery, I'm going to have a group show, you know, with a couple of great artists. Okay. All right. I don't want to jinx it.
Okay, no doubt. No doubt.
You know? So I'm not going to say their names because, you know, you try to get shit together and it doesn't happen. But that's going to be Next Street Gallery in July. Right now in the Gallery de Liberté in Paris, I got some artwork in there right now, as well as Warworks Paris. Whoa. Not here in New York, not in the Bronx, not that Warworks. Another one in Paris. They have a show. It's called Action, which is about the 67, I think, the year 68, May, when they had the revolution in May. And what I mean by revolution, when the students, you know, they wanted to go co-ed in the colleges. Right. And it just lit the country up. So they started all these strikes and stuff and whatnot. And they shut the country down almost, man. So they had a newspaper called Action, which was about revolution, change, social change, you know, because back then women weren't respected, interracial couples, people going to school, you know, co-eds in school. None of that, man. Fair wages, overtime, none of that stuff existed until they got together. And what the students started, the whole country took part in, you know, and they shut the country down. So they came up with this newspaper Action. So the guy gave me a newspaper, and I did something related to that. You know, to that, and that's going on right now in Paris.
Okay, cool.
So,
are there any websites that people? Do you have your own website or anything?
You can check me out on Instagram, TKid170, man. You know,
and we'll put that right here so you can see it.
Yeah, man, TKid170 at Instagram, and that's how you get me, man. DM me if you want any of my work. You know, I tell you a price. That's what it is. PayPal, you know the deal, man.
Word.
You know, shout out to my lovely wife Rita. You know, shout out to my boys. Yo. You know how it is, man. Too many to say what's up.
I feel you. Thank you for coming on.
Yo,
TK.
thank you, my brother, man.
It's
thank
a very
you.
big honor.
Thank you.
And yo, you got it from here, Visual Caffeine. We always bring you the freshest stuff. Yo, TK. Peace.